Parent Connection of San Luis Obispo County welcomes you to video 4 of our 5-video series in How to Help Your Family Build Resiliency During Challenging Times, presented by Ron Huxley, LMFT, and Parent Connection parent coach and educator. You are watching video 4, Building Your Family's Stress Toolbox. As you watch the video, we encourage you to submit your questions to info@slowparents.org by May 11th, and Ron Huxley will answer them in video 5. During this video, you will learn the benefits of turning stress into something positive and how to do this, tools to help your family deal with stress, and how stress can make you social. Now here's Ron with video 4, Building Your Family's Stress Toolbox.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that stress is harmful to your health? This is a question that a professor at Stanford University by the name of Kelly McConigal asked a group of people in a TED Talk in 2013. The same TED Talk has had over 23 million views, demonstrating that our interest in stress and its impact on our life is very important. I'm Ron Huxley, a licensed marriage and family therapist and a parent coach with the Parenting Connection. In this video, we're going to talk about stress and how to develop a list of tools that will help you make stress your friend. In that video by Dr. McConigal, one of the things that she reported was that there was a study of 30,000 people that they followed over the course of 8 years. They simply asked them the same question that we asked. Do you believe that stress is harmful to your health? They also then rated how much stress they were going through over those 8 years, some a little, some a lot. And what they discovered is that those people who experienced a lot of stress and believed that stress was harmful had an increase in physical issues, mental health issues, and had a 43% higher rate of dying than those who did not believe that stress was harmful. Now you could say, well, the people who thought that stress was not harmful just experienced a low level of stress. But that's actually not true. Many of them experienced a very high level of stress. In fact, those people who did not believe that stress was harmful to them and experienced a high level of stress were the least likely people in the study over the course of 8 years to have risk physical, mental health issues, or risk of dying. So what does that say about our relationship to stress and how to make it your friend? What does it say about the number of tools that we need or the kind of tools that we need to help us deal with stress? Well, the biggest tool and the most powerful tool that you can use in dealing with stress is right here between your two ears. Another little known fact about stress is that stress makes you social. When we're under stress, we will produce a chemical called oxytocin. This is sometimes called the love bonding hormone or the cuddle hormone because we feel it when we're in positive, warm, loving relationships. We particularly feel a heightened increase of oxytocin when we are physically close to other people. And that can also refer to socially close as well. Now I know in this quarantine it's very difficult to feel physically and or socially close to individuals. But when we are connected to someone else that feels loving and feel love and kindness, we will have an increase in positive emotions. And it will mediate that fight or flight center in our brain and cause that center to calm down. People who feel oxytocin are much more likely to gravitate towards one another. And this is the purpose of the hormone in the stress response system, is when we are experiencing a lot of stress, we will turn to family or friends who can support us, protect us, provide us with care that might help us in a difficult situation. What happens for individuals who don't experience that is that they will remain isolated, they will be shut down and disconnected. Now, many of us do feel like we're in that situation already with the coronavirus. But I want to encourage you that even if you reach out to someone over the phone or technology, using Zoom or FaceTime, these can still be powerful ways to feel some sense of connection. I understand it's not quite the same quality that you're used to, but our brain and bodies doesn't understand the difference, really. Our brain and bodies will recognize that this is emotional connection. What I would suggest is that you don't talk about work, that you don't talk about negativity in news, that you don't use this as a time to talk about children's homework or homework strategies. Use this as a time to simply vent, to be able to spend 5-10 minutes venting to one person and then letting them have 5 or 10 minutes to vent to you. Maybe just talking about things that you're grateful for today, or something that you've been a book you've been reading, or a Netflix show that you've been binging. Just anything other than some of the things that create the stress in your life in the first place, because you don't want to just re-traumatize yourself all over again in the conversation. So reach out to people and have positive connections. Another way to utilize this is to engage it with your children, what I call huddle time. Now, huddle is different than a family meeting because family meetings to most children and families are painful. They hate it. It's long, it's boring, it's usually about the parents talking about chores or problems in the family, and no one likes that situation. So instead of talking about problems, just have a quick check-in, saying, hey, what's our intention for today? What's something fun that we can do? Who come up with a quick brain break or a game that we can play over the next 15 minutes before we get back to our homework? Being able to connect with individuals in the family allows us to increase that oxytocin and allows us to help mitigate the effects of stress in our life. Maybe you have a family handshake or a high five that you give each other, or a group hug. These will also increase the feeling of oxytocin and connection, which will help us battle against the stress. Now, when worry really becomes really great and we don't know how to mitigate this situation, and it's really hard to switch gears, what I would suggest is that you use a tool called postponement of worry. Now, this is where we allow people to worry, but we're just going to postpone it to a certain time of day. And when that time comes, we can talk about all the worries. We can gather together as a family in a supportive way when cooler heads can prevail. But when we're throughout the day, we just push that aside and say, we're not going to talk about that negative situation right now. We'll discuss it during our postponement time. This then allows children to talk about their feelings and in a way that doesn't require us to be trying to problem solve. This is not a time for problem solving, just for creative listening and for empathic understanding. Ask children to tell us more about the situation and then allow them to find solutions to their own problems. Another powerful way is to put some relaxation into our otherwise stressful day. And I do this by just trying to build in some awe and wonder into our lives, because when we are engaged in tasks and routines, we tend to get bogged down. That's when we tend to feel more stress. As parents, and children feel stressed because they feel like they're always engaged in homework or doing some type of task or chore, and they're not having enough fun. And so we can integrate more fun in our day through some basic principles of meditation and gratitude. One way that you can put some tools into your toolbox for both yourself and your children is to try to look for the awe and wonder in the ordinary. Using your children's imaginations, you can look for the fairy in the soap puddles when you wash dishes. Go outside and walk in the rain. Go outside at nighttime, look at the stars and the moon. Try counting the stars. Arrange the bed sheets into a tent and turn your ordinary evening into a campground. You may not be able to go outside, but you can have a picnic indoors. Get a whole entire picnic basket with all the trimmings and then sit around singing songs or telling stories or reading books. Dealing with all the crisis and the trauma and the stress of our current situation, it's really important that we have a very flexible attitude and structure throughout the day. It may be that your children don't finish all their homework in one day, and maybe you don't get all the work done that you hope to get done in one day. You have some flexibility for yourself and allow that there are going to be some variations. Some days are going to be very productive and other days we're just not going to be that productive. Be willing to go with the flow when these things happen. To try to fight against it's kind of like trying to paddle upstream in a canoe, particularly when it's a rapid. It's just not going to work. So trying to deal with your children, if they're having temper tantrums and meltdowns, if you're having temper tantrums and meltdowns, let that be a sign that maybe we need to have a little more flexibility and allow ourselves just to have a day where we don't seem to get as much done because we're focusing on our inner needs today rather than trying to get all our outer needs accomplished. Another way that we can use this tool right here between our two ears is just to let go of the image of the ideal family. Don't look at what other people are doing or compare yourself to other people or how much they're getting things done or how their family functions. Do what's best for your family. Try to find the natural rhythms that work best for you. If getting up at 8 o'clock is the best time for you every day, do that. If maybe waiting till 8:30 or 9 is a better time to wake everybody up so that you can have some time in the morning to have a cup of tea, read the paper, maybe have some meditation time, then do that as well. If your family thrives on movement, then do some yoga throughout the day. Allow yourselves to be unique and special and celebrate that. Have a family slogan, create a banner in your house that represents the things that you as a family tend to thrive more than other families. Also allow each day to be a new day. Today's a new day. It doesn't matter what problems we had yesterday. Today we get an opportunity to either we win or we learn. We won because we had a really great day yesterday, or we learned from it and we're going to do things differently. Our biggest frustration and stressors are going to come from the fact that we're trying to use the same formula or strategy that didn't work yesterday or the day before today. So allow yourself the opportunity to try new things. Incorporate your family in that through those huddle times, family meetings, or daily check-ins.
Thank you for watching video 4 of 5, Building Your Family's Stress Toolbox. We hope you found some tools to help you and your family learn how to deal with stress and ways to turn it into something positive. If you have questions, we encourage you to submit them to info@slowparents.org by May 11th to receive an answer from Ron Huxley in video 5. This free video series is made possible through Center for Family Strengthening and sponsored by the County of San Luis Obispo through the Mental Health Services Act and in collaboration with the Behavioral Health Department.